Are you ready to party? Let's go.
My beautiful people, welcome back to the October monthly review. We have myself, Tim Fisher, Sam Komalafe,
Yo.
Danielle Cravat,
How you doing, Shug?
and my man with the plan, Jordan Jimiola.
What's up?
I love it, dude. How's everybody doing?
That's all I got, dude. Doing good, man. How are you?
Awesome. We're back for another round. I am excited about this. It's been a very interesting month, as we all know.
As usual.
Very interesting. Sam brought up something good. What did Sam say, Danielle?
What did he say?
I don't know.
No, he said it's like big
like-
stuff happened at the beginning of the month, but there's so much that kept happening.
Yeah.
We just kind of forgot.
I was like, Spice Girls?
Baby Spice, what's up?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every month there's more drama. And it always happens to come out like the last 2 weeks where I always think, oh man, these are good. And then like I look at the notes from the first 2 weeks, I'm always like, that's boring.
Right.
It's boring compared to the last 2 weeks at least. But
Right,
yeah.
right, yeah.
It's been a while, man.
But then like it kind of amazes me by some of the things we easily forget.
Yep. Because it came out so early in the month.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And then more things just keep happening.
We do have positive news that started right away this October. October 1st, Mark Hoppus no longer has cancer. Cancer-free.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, there you
Are
go.
we allowed to hit the bell?
Yeah,
Nope.
we're allowed to hit the bell on that.
Oh, okay.
I know
Love that man.
It wasn't a "that's what she said" moment, but it's positive.
Right.
That's crazy because when he announced, I can't remember how he announced, but when it came out that he had cancer, I was a little like, because we all grew up. That was our era, right? When they were
I
big.
love that man. Yeah.
It was huge. So when you kind of see that, it's like, holy crap. Like, damn. Famous people are getting older, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Tom DeLonge. He's the alien guy.
No, not
Yeah. No, it was Pappas. Pappas.
Papas.
Am I saying it right?
Hoppus.
Pappas.
How
Is it a
dare
P
you.
or a H?
It's an H.
I'm a Blink fan, and I don't know that one. Like, my bad, dude. Sorry about
Remember
that.
walking around with my Blink Me shirt on, my ripped tattered jeans. You know.
Yeah.
That was the good old days, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, let's start off with the Southwest Airlines.
Another good positive. What'd they do?
Woo! Who wants to take that one?
Get it, Danny.
I was like, everyone's like,
No, don't drink that drink. That's all you.
Going right in for that drink.
I'm here to drink, not talk.
Well, it looks like they're pretty much gonna like drop the whole mandate thing as far as if you don't do the vaccine, you know how they're like not giving like unemployment or not.
Yeah, unpaid leave, right?
Yeah,
Is that what they
exactly.
call it?
Which is extremely fucked up, but I think they're gonna go against it and be like, no, we're not gonna do that after
Right.
all.
And this-
It cost them a lot of money.
Right, and this
when
came
everybody walked
from
out.
the pilot walkout, right? Or them taking sick leave?
Pretty much,
Because
yeah.
Southwest Airlines spinned it as though it was weather, correct?
Yeah. Apparently they're the only ones. They're the only ones that had weather problems
How
that day.
stupid can that be, right?
it was pretty remarkable because it was like, it was like the most bullshit kind of excuse because there wasn't any other airlines that were
No.
stopped, and they had such a huge amount, and it was not just the pilots, it was the air traffic controllers as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a ton of them that didn't show up to work. So whatever you read, you're going to have to put that one together, but it's obvious, it's pretty convenient timing for it to be associated with whether it was a walkout or a stage out or whatever you want to call it, or, disagreements. That's not even a word.
Sure.
Disagreement.
It's a word.
Anyway, yeah, but like on the news, it was just like, due to weather complications. It's like for the whole world. Like there's nowhere that was sunny. I was like,
Delta's like the fuck.
you know where it was sunny? In Orange County. I was like, that's the one place I could have flew into. But yeah, so anyway, it was.
I don't know, Tim, did you hear the planes coming over your house? Like every 5 minutes still?
Well, that is the small airport, the private planes that come over during the day.
yeah.
Yeah, not the major ones.
But
That's
I mean,
far that way.
essentially, it worked, right? Or at least and I shouldn't say it worked,
Well-
but it changed the process.
It's a baby step. It's not a complete no mandate, but it's definitely taking steps forward to it.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah, but it changed the whole company's stance.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that is. I agree with what you're saying and what you're saying, actually.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
but-
a baby step, but it's a major step because you have the first major airline where all their pilots, I think stewardess as well, right? Didn't they all, or was it just pilots?
It was just
I think
pilots
Just the
affected.
pilots?
Yeah.
Well, they all stood together. There's power in numbers, which I think people forget.
Yeah.
There is power in numbers, and look what just happened. They took a stance, and the CEO owners were just like, "All right, cool, we're not going to do it anymore because we're going to lose our ass."
Exactly. So it's irrelevant. You know,
Right.
whatever the
Yeah, it shows that you need us to work to support this economy.
Yep.
What's going on?
Yep.
You know, so it's, and I remember seeing the Southwest airline, one of the planes on the tarmac, and they had the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. I was like, my guy.
I saw that, dude. That was pretty.
Ballsy.
That's a ballsy move for sure. I mean, because it was very public, you know, and
Yep.
it was obviously circulated around the internet relatively quick, you know. And but it's neat to see that, you know, if there are numbers, that works. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And it's, I don't know. Again, it's like hot topic, right? It's not like is it egregious for them to not comply? You know, do you think that because if like, let's say it just applies to the pilots, or let's say the air traffic controllers, is that going to affect travel? Are people not going to go on the planes because they're like, I'm not going to go on here if the pilot's not vaccinated? You know what I mean? Or, you know, I mean, like, what's the long-term changes on that?
Well, the funny,
know?
yeah, you need pilots, you need truck drivers, you need the longshoremen, you need police, fire, and the fucking military.
Right.
Fact.
And who are they trying to lay off right now? All of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All of them.
Or at
Which
least,
is such a huge mistake because one, to remain a superpower, we need to keep our military strong. To protect the people, the civilians in our country, you need police and fire. We didn't get a fucking day off when COVID hit. We still kept showing up to work and going and working and not knowing what the heck we were walking into, right? There's no vaccine. No one knew how to control it. While everyone else stayed at home to protect themselves. So we were heroes for a second and it turned to zeros. Now you want to fire us? It's such bullshit. It really is.
It's crazy.
yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because there's this, you know, again, it just depends on what you're reading. You know what I mean? Whatever aisle you fall along politically pretty much is what your, you know, what your belief is based upon. And it's like, you know, it's like I would encourage to read both ends of that argument, you know, to really formulate something. Don't be someone who just hears something and be like, oh, this is what it is. You know, it's like do your own research, you know, and then come up with your own conclusion. But that's the beauty of it, is that your own conclusion is what draws you to your freedom of choice. You know, and so that's why it's like it's super crazy that the mandates are hitting so many different, you know, levels of, you know, basically public entities that it's like if people, you know, for those who don't believe in it, there's quite a bit more than is being alluded to, you know, and that makes a huge difference. If they said, okay, everyone's fired and that many people walk, you're going to have a really hard time with whether it's first responders, military, whatever, you know, healthcare workers, all that. I mean, I guess that's what, like, I would know, you know, at least my opinion of it is it would be catastrophic for the citizens in the areas that these people worked. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's a risk versus gain. And that's really what it comes down to. You know, what is it? You know, what's the big picture of it? What's the, you know, what does it look like for yourself? And how is that going to apply moving forward? But the crazy part is that that's not a lot of, you know, there's some places now that's not even an option, you know, and it's, I don't know. It's sad because, I mean, you saw like Chicago, Seattle, you saw all the boots that there were, you know, people that walked away.
Fucking ridiculous.
You
Did
know?
you guys see that? All the first responders and the troopers that put their boots up. I'm like, dude, this is really fucking happening. If you would have told us like 5 years ago, they'd be
A year ago when
True.
you're all
You're right,
heroes.
you're right.
I mean, you're still all heroes to me. You'll forever be heroes. But it just amazes me how much they were all chanting all these frontliners. And now they're just like, there's the door.
It
Yeah.
seems like insanity to
No
me.
care. No
Yeah.
care.
It really does seem like
Yeah.
insanity.
Right. Right.
And I'm really interested. Really interested. This trend is going to be interesting because, you know, starting with, you know, like the pilots, we're going to have more frontliners doing it, military doing all these walk-offs. I don't know. I'm a little anxious to see what like outsiders may possibly be thinking or wanting to do.
When you say outsiders, you're talking about other countries,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. I had this conversation with my dad, actually a few other people in the past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the unfortunate part about how we're so linked together now with social media and the news is that I think they're letting the public and people outside our country know too much. If you're telling everyone that a lot of our top warriors are resigning from the military, generals, special forces people. Then you're saying, well, we're going to have to fire their police and fire and their health coworkers. Now, if I was an enemy, I'd be like, what a great time to do something.
They're falling apart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What a better time than to do something.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that someone's going to attack us,
Yeah,
but
no,
if you think in that mindset,
Yep.
there are many countries, China, Russia, so many that want to be the superpower.
Right. Right.
And look at us right now.
Right. How far down though do you think that train of thought is happening? With our government? Because
I think we've had it good for too long.
Right.
I think that's the fucking problem. I think everyone thinks that mentality of we're untouchable, we're America.
Yep.
Like, bitch,
crazy,
did you not just see China shoot a supersonic fucking missile
With no cares.
into space, circle the globe, and the Americans, our special force intelligence, everyone government went, well, fuck, we don't know how that happened. What do you mean we don't know how that fucking happened? Well, there's a nuke on that fucking thing, dude.
Exactly, bro.
I mean,
Weird.
I feel like if that really was the stance, like if that was like, they're like, that's impressive. You know what I mean? Like, I would not say that publicly. I'd be like, we saw it the whole time. In fact, we have the appropriate defense
And
to
they
be able to
said it
stop
publicly.
that. Right? It's like stop it. Just stop doing that. You know what I mean? Look, even if we're not there, make it appear that we're there.
Right.
And to what you were saying earlier, I think that the vulnerability isn't like they're gonna attack a country, like physically. I think what they'll do is financially, is that's where we already owe China.
It's all
a ton
sides
of
Exactly.
money.
war shit.
And that's and then I think that's because that's where the war really is.
Right.
The war of finances, because its capital gains are what drives the power, the powerhouse countries. Like everyone's got to all those you listed, they all have huge militaries. We all have the capacity of just destructing the entire world, basically. But where the power really resides in is, I think, the financial power. And I think that's where China has made a lot of moves, and they buy up our debt, and then they come over here
Right.
and, big business, real estate, everything.
Dude, China owes us. They own us.
Yep.
pretty
Completely.
much.
Own us.
That sleeping giant's gonna wake
Oh
up
my
at some point
God,
in time.
I know. And
Let's look at some numbers though.
what numbers you got?
So, just within earlier this month release, 4.3 million have been leaving jobs, and 300K more than the month of August.
Yeah.
This is all of the U.S.?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and that was earlier in the month, so that number's even more now.
Now, are they leaving jobs because they're
Mandate.
the mandate?
So, but this is like every job. Like this is all going to affect in every aspect.
Right.
So it's exactly like how we're talking about. At some point in time, I feel like something big's just going to happen.
Oh yeah. Now, when we say I know this is sound ridiculous, but when we say mandate, can you explain what that is? Just if some people still don't understand.
So if you're not vaccinated, you're out pretty much.
Right. You lose your job if you don't get vaxxed.
I would encourage people to drive around and look at the businesses that they once lived by. I don't know if it's like this for you guys, but like in the area that I live in,
Very true.
It is extraordinarily noticeable of all the businesses that are not there anymore, and they're predominantly mom and pop businesses. You know what I mean? And it's like we got places that have been around for 20 years, and that's it. It's over. And whether that's not even really just the mandate. That's just people either not wanting to work because they can't employ.
Everywhere's hiring right now. Literally everywhere. There's no reason why you can't get a job.
Well,
other than the vaccine
with
part.
the mandate.
But you could do like a Uber Eats or whatever. But
Yeah, you got to crush on Uber Eats to make some money, like working 72-hour shifts.
Or you could be that porn star who left the porn industry, became a firefighter.
Or you
Ring
could
that bell. Ring that bell. Yes.
Good for you.
Yes.
You could do
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
I had to sneak that in, guys.
Right.
I had to sneak that in.
Sneak that in, my man.
I want to bring something up real quick. I was like, I was trying to bring it up at the time. It took me 5 minutes to remember what I was thinking. What I had a question for, and this is with all the first responder agencies and stuff, with the mandates and whatnot. The Department of Labor, so the DOL, whatever, came out. I don't know if you guys saw it this last week, but they pushed something out there because before with the mandate associated with the vaccine, like if you took it and you were on duty and something happened to you because of, and it's a low percentage. So I'm not saying it's like that's happening to everybody. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if you are one of the people that is affected and now you cannot work any longer, before they would not cover you, right? Because again, it's part of the whole deal with the emergency use authorization, and so you don't have like the actual backings from being like, hey, we're mandating to take this. You take it, and all of a sudden you have a stroke, and now you can't perform your job anymore, and now. It's like, where's the liability, right? Be like, I didn't want to take it, but they said I couldn't work if I didn't take it. So now I took it. Now I'm messed up and now I can't work anymore. Where's my money, right? But so this last week, the Department of Labor came out saying that they're going to actually back that up now. Oh. Which I thought because I thought that was interesting because I'm like, well, you're going to back like, and maybe this is because I'm thinking about it too simply, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, if you're going to mandate a vaccine or any kind of medication or something along those lines for everyone to have to take it to work. And you're going to say to everybody that it's super safe. It's safe. Everybody, it's safe. Right? But then something happens. It's kind of like, isn't that weird? Doesn't that have a weird vibe to it? Where it's like you're going to back something that's safe that's not really that safe. So much so that, hey, we had to pass some shit, by the way, so you're good either way. Right? You should just take it. So it's kind of like, it's like I don't know where that falls. Like the processing of this, as far as like who are the people making these decisions? Like how does that round table look? Where they're like, do they look at statistics? They actually look at statistics? Or are they only hearing from one source? And they think, oh, well, they said it was cool, so we're good.
No, it's people who are making decisions based on politics, and it shouldn't be about politics.
Right?
Politics and freaking money. Did you see that commercial that was put I think Joe Rogan posted on it.
Yes.
How every news network was sponsored by Pfizer.
Weird.
Yep.
Bro.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
And you want to
for
tell me
5 minutes.
call us crazy for conspiracy theories.
Yeah. And it was
It's like in right there in black and white.
It's in your
so
face.
many things. So many things. That's what I don't get. Like,
Because they're going unchecked. They're getting away with murder.
I don't know how many
Clintons, what's
people
up?
said they weren't going to get any vaccine or they weren't going to take, they would call it Trump's vaccine if it came out while he was.
Right.
And it's like, it's the same line.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like intelligent decisions are being made. And when I say it's based off politics, I 100% believe that they're doing what's best for the party.
Right.
What's going to keep their agenda pushing forward.
Yeah. I mean, you can go online and look at the VAERS reports, right? Which is an extension of the CDC, which is like government-backed information that's getting put out there. There's like 700. I mean, again, so this is a large number for adverse side effects, right? So that can mean a lot of different things. I mean, like extended headaches or something, all the way up to including death, right? So it shows that shit's happening, right? So whether those numbers or not, right, it all turns into, go back to it. It's all risk versus gain, And like me personally, I was like, do I think the vaccine's good? I was like, I think it's really good for a lot of different people in different circumstances, and I'm all for it. It's your choice. Do it. But it's like when you start, when you get that push that it's like, well, you have to, or that's it.
Right.
It's kind of like, whoa, hold on just a second. It was like, you're sitting here telling everybody that it's super safe, it's super effective. But then every week I hear you're going to need your 3rd and 4th booster. You look in other countries, like they won't even consider you vaccinated now unless you have your 4th booster shot. So it's like,
oh, we're going to get there.
Well, we will. I'm sure we will in this country, but it's like, but that's what I'm saying. It's that it's like the field is always moving. Right? Or the goalposts keep moving, right? Because it's like they say one thing and then a week later it changes. And I understand you have to be dynamic, but it's like the statement that I heard that I hear it all the time and I think couldn't be truer is that if this was a true pandemic, you wouldn't be laying off healthcare workers.
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Be having Met Galas.
God, maskless.
We're talking about
Maskless Met Galas. Right.
Tax the
rich.
But I do agree with you, Jordan Jean. And also,
what the fuck?
That's Jordan Jean.
That is Jordan's name.
That rolled off the tongue very well. That was clean.
You guys come up with a nickname without me? All right.
But I challenge you, just seriously, read the CDC, all the fine print, go back 2-3 weeks later. I guarantee you it's not the same exact print. You will notice how much that thing moves to fit
the agenda.
what they're saying.
The agenda, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Always.
I dare you. Just read it. Give it every other week, every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Read it. I guarantee you it will not be word for word the same exact thing.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I think what makes it hard, right? That makes it the most. Oh my god! What makes it? See, that was a good one. That was a "that's what she said" moment.
I still had
Well, you're not supposed to announce that that's what the bell's for.
My favorite show is like The Office, so
I
it's
know,
like right in my
I know,
wheelhouse.
but
It was a good ring.
the listeners
It
are
was good.
supposed to catch on.
Oh.
So that way, when they're driving and listening and they hear something or somebody random, they just think ding
They
in their mind.
Yeah.
We're gonna need it. I think another
Classical
bell.
conditioning.
Okay,
I like
I'm
that.
gonna get you guys
Wow.
the positive vibe bell, and then you guys leave my "that's what she said" bell.
Okay,
All
copy
right.
that.
There you
All
go.
right.
Was it going to sound different?
Well, I don't know. You guys transformed it.
What if we do like a party mix where it's like? "Bruh, bruh."
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
Brr, brr, brr.
say a lot, dude. I'm totally down. Totally down. Oh my god. Okay,
We left off at "that's hard." Where are we going from there?
Fauci.
Fauci.
Okay. Okay. So you guys saw that it came out that he was doing something with beagles, bro. That was huge.
You know what? I
What-
briefly saw it. I honestly.
Jordan,
kind of-
can you explain this
Yeah,
one?
I would like to hear about that.
So one of the thing that came out is that they were doing testing on animals, and in this case, it was beagles, like dogs, and they were basically putting like. I heard a couple, like some of the reports were saying, like as far as articles were saying, they were like sandflies, and they were saying like flesh-eating bugs or whatever. But they were doing testings on these dogs, and what they were doing is they were taking these like mesh square boxes and like putting it around their neck, and then putting all the the insects in there. And for whatever reason, because I didn't read anything as far as like saying like what exactly it was for. So I'm certain that there was some sort of purpose as far as why they were testing them. But just the fact that they were doing the testing in this way was it gained a lot of notoriety. And like I saw people posting and reposting stuff that like they're typical, you know what I mean? Like wouldn't be like posting shit against Fauci, but in this case, because it's a big deal, dude. Because everyone fucking likes dogs. You know what I mean?
man.
And
Heck
like
yeah.
to see the pictures that were posted up, like that, it was
How
it's
they were
fucked
lying
up,
there, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my! I think. Oh man, I feel like if it wasn't Fauci and it was somebody else in a different administration, they would have hung him already.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It'd have been done.
Yeah.
And he's still in there. I'm like, is nobody holding anyone accountable in our government?
What came out that they how because like that was like again, right? It's like a month goes by and we forget about everything that happened last month. So this one's like 6 months ago. So everyone's like, this shit's
It never happened,
might have been 60 years ago, dude. We are on to the next thing. But you know how he was going on, I don't know if it was the Senate or Congress, whatever, they were bringing him in because they were talking about gain of function research and how they were trying to show that they did that in Wuhan and was actually being supplemented financially by the United States through Fauci. And he was on, in the, because I don't think it's court. So I don't want to say like he was under, like actually in court, like, having to swear the whole truth and stuff. So he was in there, but that Rand Paul, he was a senator. Yes. He was grilling him and like, he's a doctor. So like he kind of, it's like kind of like a big dicking contest a little bit, but he was basically saying, like, we know that you did this and we have the information to it. And Fauci repeatedly was like, there is absolutely 100% zero gain of function research that is being supplemented and funded by us. We would never do that, blah, blah, blah. He goes off on this long tangent. So much so that he said that an assault on Dr. Fauci is an assault on science, is what he says out loud. So he referred to himself in the third person talking about it so strongly that like this is absolutely
He's
incorrect.
got such little man syndrome.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
dude, for sure. But flash forward 5 months, come to find out, funded the United States through Fauci, through this thing. Don't hear anything. Don't hear nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like
Untouchable.
okay, so he wasn't in court, but it was like in Congress, which is like contempt, but it's like, lying to Congress actually is like illegal.
It's a big deal. Oh,
it's
yeah.
a big deal. And again,
If you're a
it was-
Republican,
well, yeah. I mean, if you're against the grain and whoever whatever administration's running, you are fucking on the hot bench.
Yeah.
And this fucker is still making I saw that he said he vaccinated Santa Claus the other day on TV. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, don't worry. I don't do a good Fauci, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just gone. It's gone. It's gone.
I
It's
know
over with.
there's so many things
I'm like,
that
that's nuts to me.
they've gone back forth that he's backpedaled on or lied about, and I'm amazed nobody says anything.
You know, I just think it's just going to be one of those things that per whatever administration, that's not even true. Because like if you go back to last administration, everything that administration pushed was under the hot seat the entire time. So much so that nothing really got done, like potentially as much as it could be. But in this one, it's like shit's either not happening or counterintuitive, and then it doesn't ever get investigated. So it's like you got these like two like extreme differences. And I'm not saying that everyone tells the truth or everyone doesn't lie or whatever. There are going to be those people regardless of like what administration or political group you're in. But it's like we don't have any fucking like baseline on to go and look into these things. You know, where everyone's in, like, it's like, okay, well, it's like that's a pretty big deal, right? Because now we're kind of getting to the point of where this virus actually may have came from, which was Wuhan, in my opinion. But
Felt that.
I was like, but that's where it stops. It stops here, and it only continues on shit like this, like hearsay talk, kitchen table talk. You don't see it on the news. You don't see people talking about it, and it's like, dude, what just happened? What happened? Yeah. You know, it's like this guy literally was sitting there saying that there's absolutely 0% chance. That means none, right? Just in case you didn't know what 0% was. But
Last I checked.
But yeah, dude, and then it's like that's it. It's over. Next thing, you know. And then we have fucking a laundry list of things that happened, and now people are more interested in Alec Baldwin than they are of what may or may not have been the initiation of this virus that's completely shocked the world and ruined a lot of shit.
Do you guys think that all things equal, like as far as, you know, Democrat, Republican, if all things equal, would Democrats always be, you know, totally not checked?
Correct.
Right. I kind of think, because I've been thinking like, oh, it's political.
What you're asking.
So if let's say if you know, now of course the, you know, COVID came out or COVID happened, and you know we're in a Democratic presidency versus a Republican, because I know you've been saying that a lot. You know, if Trump was a president,
So like would it have been
the same,
different,
right?
Or treated different?
Handled or treated different? Would the public see it different? And I've been thinking like, I wonder, but I kind of think it doesn't, or no, not that it doesn't matter. It's more like this presidency would always have the upper hand. Is not
He'll always be backed.
Yeah. Right? You know, I kind of think that because Republicans will always be looked at as too rigid, too hard. You guys are not as open-minded as we are. You know, so I kind of think that that's how it would always
but
roll.
also, I mean, I see what you're saying.
Right.
And it makes sense to me now what you're saying.
Right.
It's a great kind of question to ponder, right?
Interesting.
It is interesting. I totally lost my train of thought. It's fucking gone, dude.
Well, like, we could go back to with the whole hypocrisy. Who else isn't vaccinated right now? Gavin Newsom got hit because he did the mandate for the kids,
right?
And his kids aren't even vaccinated,
That's
and they're
insane.
of the age that he's mandating.
Right.
Again, everybody forgot about that as well.
Yeah,
So
he said he has like a 13-year-old daughter, I think.
Like a
Was
12-year-old
or 12
daughter
or
or
something.
something
It
like
was the
that.
same one that was
Yeah.
at the summer camp that wasn't wearing a mask when everyone was supposed to be wearing a mask, right?
something like that.
He said publicly that it was going to happen like the following week when that came out, but then I didn't
You
see
think he
anything
would have
about it.
raced to it?
Well,
it's the cure.
I mean, yeah, and to talk about what you're saying, Sam, I would agree with that. I think that it's as much as I don't want to agree with it, to be honest with
Same.
you, because I want to feel like, look, there's always going to be like popular people, not popular people, and there's going to be easier targets to target versus like, you know, maybe we can just give them benefit of the doubt.
Right.
At least in my lifetime so far, it does seem to sway that way a little bit.
Right.
As far as like, you know, if you're Republican, you know, you kind of get more shit as far as like public scrutiny. And like, I don't know, because I say that and it's like, dude, especially with the online thing, everyone shits on everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if it's not, but it's just the base that's attacking, right? Always, right? So I don't feel like that would be as much. I think where the key lies in is the larger media conglomerates. And I think that's where the difference really is shown. Like, because like on Twitter, dude, it doesn't matter who you are. Like if Trump puts something out, it'd be like everyone who's not a Trump supporter will say everything they possibly can to make him look bad, versus if you have Biden put something out there, they're all the Trump supporters, or I say Trump supporters, like not even Republicans, just like conservative people, right? Yeah. You know, whatever that maybe don't like whatever, but they're going to be loud and boisterous online.
Yep.
Right. And so I feel like that, like as far as the social media interaction, there will always be that. There's never going to be like someone who's going to be like perfect, that you're going to be like, oh, you know, everyone's pretty accepting of that person regardless. I don't think that's going to exist in the online realm because there's just too many trolls.
Right.
People kind of get off on bashing. Right. And for whatever that means, you know, I mean, look, it's entertaining. I'll say that much because I love to read it.
Right. I'm just here for the comments 90% of the time.
Comments.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know, your standard news channels, the stories that get run, the things that get omitted, or the things that get kind of brushed upon, or maybe like worded to where it's like, oh, there might be nothing here, when there might actually be a lot there, but they're either afraid to get into it, or like they're like, hey, we can't do this, you know. And I think in the last few years, it's definitely visible, you know, where you're like, okay, well, here we go. It doesn't really matter what happens because this is already going to be either not talked about or this is going to get blown out of proportion.
Right.
You know, and it's like, I don't want to sound like some crazy, like, you know, oh, Trump this and fuck yeah, dude, you know, all that. Like, I don't. Like, he had a ton of flaws, and I did not care for it at all how he approached things as far as through using Twitter and all that shit, because he looked stupid, in my opinion. But, you know, that for 4 years, they chased a Russia, you know, story, right? Whether, you know, he was in cahoots with them, right? And that's every time you turn on the news, that's what it's talking about. Smoking gun, the smoking gun, the smoking gun, the smoking gun. You know, you hear those playbacks where it shows like 30 seconds of the news just kind of repeating that. And it's like, you know, people actually got, like, that actually went to court where people had like you to tell the truth, right? And every single person that had shown up, and by all means, if I'm wrong, show me. Show me that I'm wrong, because maybe I didn't see something. Maybe one of them didn't say that. But I was watching the hearings, and it was like when they'd ask them point blank, like, was this involved with this? They'd be like, no, no, it didn't.
Yeah, straight up,
straight face, dude.
Up, yeah.
And it was like you were a person that was just like, you know, the end is near. You know, you're that guy. And now you are in a position to be like backed by law to push what you're saying, and you couldn't say it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I don't know, man. Like, and so like with that kind of stuff where you start thinking, it's just like, dude, I have a really hard time believing anything I watch on TV.
Exactly.
You know, and that's on either end of the aisle, you know, where I'm just thinking like, I don't fucking trust nothing. No, not nothing, but like, I will take everything with a grain of salt.
Of course.
Right. I don't commit anything to fact, really.
Right.
And that's me.
The news.
It's like the more you know.
I feel like this time, like at this time though.
Sorry, come on, man.
Come on.
I don't know why it took me so long to get that.
Did you see the post with the two guns?
Yes, dude.
Oh,
so
man.
you see the Beavis and Butthead one?
Yeah. Like Cornholio.
I fucking love the internet, man. Forever winning. Forever winning.
I will say this: he's pretty much a walking meme.
Oh yeah.
There's so much material.
I like I saw Missy Elliott there one. She's like, if you work it, like, and then it has Biden going too little. Yeah.
It's so good.
I wasn't expecting that when someone sent it to me. Yeah. I busted up so hard. It was
because I could hear his voice. And you need spaghetti sauce. And
It's like, what?
Dude, he is lost. There is something mentally wrong, and they do not want to acknowledge it.
Oh yeah.
No.
I mean, you call it like it is. He has some type of impairment that's going on.
God is an awesome God.
Did you see it again? The other day, he got it done with a speech, and he just turned to the left and stuck his hand out to shake someone's hand and just held it there. And then they zoomed out, and there's no one there. Everyone's just clapping. I'm like, this is so embarrassing.
Did you see the one? It was yesterday or the day before where he was talking about, you know, the mandates again, and COVID stuff, and then he, they're done. He's saying thank you, and then he coughs in his hand. He pulls his mask
that's
down,
right.
coughs in his hand, and then he walks off stage and immediately shakes someone's hand.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I was like,
Well, let's hope they're vaccinated.
I was like,
Hey, bring that fucking bell. We're vaccinated.
They're vaccinated.
I call that white people shit, dude.
Oh,
Nasty ass shit. Coffee. You're gonna pull your mask off to cough in your hand, huh?
Shit. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that makes
I
a
do
lot of
that.
fucking sense.
I do that. I could have spit all over myself.
I would just say it's senile shit. Yeah. But I mean, so do you think that do you think he'll go the whole term?
I told someone this when he went. I said less than 2 years.
Oh, for sure.
Less than 2
That was
years
my
is
number too. I was thinking like a year and a half.
Yeah, I don't think and okay, whether I agree with our leadership or not, I still want to hope that they're going to do their best because they're leading us.
Yeah.
Right. So I wouldn't wish that Biden's going to be out because of some medical thing. But you're just looking at his state. We're being objective here. He don't look good. He seems senile. He can't remember anything. I don't know how they are keeping him going. And the freaking what's Air Force One? It's leaving the White House like every other day. I mean, there was a news article. They're like, "Where are you going, Joe?" What
Places?
Yeah,
I don't know. I just show up.
Yeah. What treatment are you getting?
Let me ask you this.
He's on speed.
I always, hell yeah.
Oh, dude, they got him on
He's
speed.
on,
Dude.
he's on something that keeps him going because you can tell when it's not working. But I always think like the way you gauge someone who's like mentally competent, and I'm talking like as basic as humanly possible. Like, do you know your name? Do you know how old you are? Do you know what city you're in? Are you the president or not right now?
Basic psyche though. Yeah.
Yeah, like but what I'm saying is like I always think like because like working in the as a first responder and stuff, we always have to gauge people. Right. And you have to make sure that they're mentally competent to a certain extent so that they can make decisions upon themselves. Right. And there's been a handful of times where I've seen him on TV where I'm like, I would not AMA that guy. I wouldn't release him back to himself because he seems like he's in the hurt box a little bit.
Right.
I'm like, listen, buddy, you're going to have to go to the hospital.
Right.
You're not looking too good.
Right.
But he's the president. So
But we keep saying that, right? We keep saying like he's not going to make it, but like there's got to be someone that's going to evaluate him, that's actually going to decide to evaluate him and then remove him. And not that I don't see it happening, but I'm just like, how difficult does that have to be?
This is going to be life at Bernie's all the time. Kamala is just going to be holding his head up.
But
it's okay.
I think the answer to that is more simple than we think. Is that it's that the people appointed around the president is picked, right? So it may not be like a world-renowned doctor or somebody, you know what I mean? Because like those people will step up and be like, hey, I know you're supposed to, hey, listen, I know you have a big meeting today, but you can't talk.
Right.
So, so I'm going to say as the highest representative of the United States, you should sit this one out today. You know what I mean? But but then you would probably get fired.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? So
right, man.
So yeah. So I think,
just pictured on Wedding Crashers the old lady like, I could do it myself, asshole.
Oh man!
Come on, Joe. It's time for bed.
I'm really glad that SNL this past weekend finally kind of made fun of him.
Yeah,
they did like 3 different sketches. They're actually pretty good. I watched.
Did they? I didn't see it.
They're funny. They're funny because I was thinking of stuff like all the material you could have.
Oh yeah.
To write sketch comedy off this, like if I like one I would write. I was telling someone like, dude. It'd be like, we're going to get the president ready. And he's sitting there like, all right, get the fucking line ready. Get him 2 fucking 8 balls. Boom, boom, boom. He says, I'm Joe Biden. I am your president. We're like, whoa, we fucking got him.
Like, oh, God, that was a full sentence. We're good there. Did you hear every word in that one? Like, they're high-fiving this team around him. They're like, good job. It's like, this message is brought to you by cocaine.
Yeah, and I was telling him like the running, like every episode would be him having to do more coke because he's got to fucking stay on it, dude.
Dude, that would be
just turned
good.
into a mess.
I didn't even think about that though, honestly, because of how many skits they did of like Trump and like, past political people.
Of course.
I didn't even think about that. They don't ever touch him.
No,
They don't touch him
And he's
really in
an
this party.
easy ass target.
ever.
So is Kamala, dude.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Kamala, she's
yeah.
disappeared. Where the hell does she go, man?
I forgot about her.
Yeah, no, like you're
actually.
supposed to be handling the border, dude. Like, you know what she
Did Joe Biden say, "Oh, I went to the border" or something? But it was like really in 2008. I'm like,
It was 2016. Yeah. So he did go to the border one time. There's a lot happening.
quick
down
drive-by.
there. Yeah. So please do something. You know? And I'm not saying to push everyone out. I'm just saying do something to help either the process.
have you seen the videos of how they just like literally just bulldozed over? They pretty much just let them in at that point because they were so overpowering to them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like all the numbers because I know it's high.
Yeah.
It's very drastic in comparison of people coming over a day, you know, and that all translates to everything else, whether it's human trafficking or drugs coming in, things like that. So
It's all of the above.
it's all the above. And I do know that like the state of Texas keeps calling for a state of emergency directly because of the border. And that's as far as I ever see it really go. I don't hear anything past that, or you know, as far as reading up on it, like trying to see a bunch of stuff. But I don't have like the raw data numbers that you know get put out there. But I know where it's not on regular TV.
Oh,
And I know it's not being
course
talked
not.
about. And you know, there's a lot of because there's so many things that are involved with that, and it's like. Again, you know, like
I thought you were gonna say something else. Sorry.
no, I just mean like because there's like you know because that was a hot button issue. Is like okay, so we have the most people coming over every single day from a certain area, right? Whether you think that that's right or you think that that's wrong, what they're not doing is that at the same time they're mandating vaccines for people that are already working or areas to live, and they're not addressing that to the people coming over. Right, because that was like one of the big things coming out. They're saying like, okay, well, if we're cool with fucking 40,000 people a day coming through the border, which I could be wrong on my numbers, but let's say it's 20,000. Right?
It's a lot.
It's a lot, right? But then now you're not mandating those people coming over being vaccinated because that's like an infringement on a right of someone coming into the country. So it's like where is the right lane? You know what I mean? It's like, is it a choice? Is it a mandate? Is it what? Why do you treat everybody differently? You know, which is also crazy because a fun fact that United States Congress isn't mandated to have a vaccine.
Isn't
I don't know.
that
I don't know
wild?
if anyone knew that.
Isn't
but,
that freaking wild?
It's super
Or
wild.
prison guards.
Yep. Another right.
Weird.
So I mean, look. At the end of the day, I had an interesting experience because I just asked a question, and I know, and like the person that I asked it to, I wasn't looking for an answer. I had a couple drinks, and I was just being kind of a smart ass. But I went to a concert, and that concert said, if you're vaccinated, you come on in. If you're not vaccinated, you need a negative COVID test to prove that you do not have COVID coming into the show. Safety first. I get it. Make everyone happy, healthy. Everyone wins. I get it. I just thought, how come the people that are vaccinated don't have to show a negative COVID test? Because what we do know is that if you are vaccinated, you can still be a carrier. And if there are events that are handling things this way, how do you differentiate than saying, like, let's say there was a COVID outbreak. Let's say that happened. And is it safe to say from that point that the COVID outbreak came from somebody who is vaccinated, which completely, because it's out now. Everyone knows, you can be vaccinated and still be a carrier. Your symptoms might be better. You might get through it faster. Great. Right. But it doesn't show that, or it's not saying that, yeah, you can still be a carrier. So when there's all these rules that are coming out that are just like, they're counterintuitive, I think, to the big picture.
I have a perfect example. I was at a wedding this last weekend, and I was a bridesmaid, and
That's what she said.
we have several, like a group chat going on, and somebody said, "Oh, just want to let you know, so and so came out positive, da 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 da. So, like check yourself or whatever."
Yeah.
I just think it's funny because all the people that ended up being positive in the last week are all the vaccinated.
Oh my
Right.
god!
And I like, it's like on the tip of my tongue that just texts, well, if you trust in it, like, you guys are all fine. So. I don't know what you're worried about.
I wish you would have. I fucking
well,
wish
I
you
did.
would've.
I did. I mean, I'll show you my text later. I did throw a couple stings in there, but like ended it nice. So it's like,
passive,
but it's all good. But yeah, I just thought that was ironic though, because like, I'm fine. I'm negative. But I'm not vaccinated.
But again, it doesn't matter. If
no,
you
it
are
doesn't.
Or if you're not, and that's like the basis point, the driving force behind all of it is, or at least for me, I don't care if you are or if you're not, right? Because it's a risk. It's your risk. Whatever you're willing to take, you can look up the numbers. You can listen to what you want to listen to. Feel comfortable in whatever choice that you make, But the aftermath of it is the crazy part because of that scenario right there, right? It's like, okay. So you happen to have a situation where everyone got together. The people who got it are already vaccinated. And it's like, okay, well, I wouldn't give two shits about that. I'd be like, okay, well, cool. Well, then I'm going to stay away from you because you're sick or you're sick or you're sick or whatever. And then we're all going to go about our way.
Right.
But if it was the other way around,
oh,
it's
man.
like, oh, how could you subject everybody to this thing? And it's like, well, I thought you're vaccinated. Like, you're supposed to be okay.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, so are you worried about me?
Right.
Not that you need to be, but you know what I'm saying? Like
I actually was kind of worried that I was going to be blamed for something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I kind of thought at
Got
at
tested.
some
You're
level.
like, look, wasn't me.
Yeah.
There you go. Just so you guys know, that's 150
I'm
bucks.
clean,
right there,
bitches.
Clean.
Yeah.
Jordan, I actually went to a concert also, and yeah, you had to show your vaccine card, and then there were COVID tests that were right outside, and I thought about it for a quick second, and I was thinking like, why? Because like you said, we people that are vaccinated can still be carriers, and it's ironic, of course.
Did you flip it like a badge?
Right. Yeah.
Got it right here.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, bitch. Okay.
It's all laminated.
Right. And then we're all like stuffed.
I'm gonna wear mine in dog tags if I ever do it.
Which is never gonna happen.
No.
But we were like stuffed in this, and it was at the House of Blues. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So tight quarters.
Tight quarters. But of course, it's the Band-Aid. The vaccine is supposed to fix this
how
problem.
You combine that.
Right. Hey, no,
it.
that was
Band-Aid.
That was totally
got it.
Totally unintentional. But it's supposed to fix this problem, So it's always going to be, I keep doing that, vaccine or nothing, So the people that get the vaccine, and if they, come up positive, then it's like,
It's funny. Dude, I experienced the same thing.
Right.
I was at the House of Blues. God dang it. Long Beach Performing Arts Center. And I watched Bill Burr on Friday night.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And you had to be vaxxed or show negative testing. And that place was fucking packed.
Packed, bro.
Packed.
Yep. So you just showed a test.
Showed your test. Yeah. They still made you wear a mask inside, but a lot of people were pulling them off.
Of course.
You could tell everyone's over it.
Of course, man.
And Long Beach is a very liberal city.
Very. Yep.
Now, whoever his followers are, I would imagine probably a mixture of both because he shits on everyone. I love it.
Love him.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that, about the vaccine or the test. But yeah.
Well, there's this big Christian artist. His name's Chris Tomlin. He's written a bunch of worship music. Remember? Okay, you guys should know this, right? How Great Is Our God?
Yep.
That's
your favorite song,
He's an awesome God.
Yeah, not that.
Not
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
Not Mr. Ray's song. Kimberly Ray's song. She always did like the rap and shit.
I was like, what the hell? Stop.
No, man.
Stop.
No, he wrote that big worship song called "How Great Is Our God." Right. Well, he just posted a tour throughout the U.S. with like another big Christian. They're Hillsong United from Australia. Shout out to Carl Lentz for getting caught banging other women. Pastor, well done. But yeah, they were like supposed to.
Do it again. Try it.
It's all right. That was a year ago. A couple years ago.
Happens.
Yeah, he's totally brought down Hillsong. The whole church is crumbling now.
Oh my god.
Coming out like sex scandals and all this crazy
What?
shit. Yeah, I'm like, shout out Carl. Fucking took one dude to bring them all down.
Oh my god.
But okay, so they have the tour dates coming through the US, and I was like, I usually don't read the post. I look at the comments. Right? So you see the picture, it's supposed to be a big tour. Yeah. And you're going through, people are like, oh, God bless you, praise Jesus, your song saved my life. And then just starts getting into this like, you're a piece of shit. Like, we shouldn't have to show vax mandates. This is God's America. Dude. And it just got worse. I'm like, damn.
Yep.
The Christian
It was
artist.
a remix.
Oh, yeah. They were lighting him up. Like, damn, dude.
That's great.
People are passionate right now.
Yeah, dude. There's a
Pasión.
I got one lady said it was so funny. She was like, "I'm getting rid of all your CDs."
Wow. You still listen to CDs?
Yeah, I was thinking,
Right, I was like, who's listening to? Yeah.
I'm thinking he doesn't
Hey,
care.
don't hate.
Yeah, he made his.
Still got a
You
book.
already won.
I got a book in the car.
Yeah, there's another artist that it's not a Christian
Country guy.
Yeah,
Country dude.
that he won't. Oh, it's Travis Tritt. That's the great day. It's a great day to be alive. I'm not gonna even try to sing, but
And it's a great.
I believe it was him. Anyway, he won't play at venues that are vaccine only. And like so, it changed up his tour. Like he's a pretty
Dude, I saw that
super
dude 2 years ago and I was
successful
falling asleep, so I'm okay.
Oh damn!
I mean, I'm totally.
officially
I'm
won't be there.
I won't be there, but
Me neither.
I'm glad that he's at least standing up for that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that part.
Just as far as like, it's like, look, at the end of the day, you're going to do whatever you have to do. I get some things, but like, it's good to see that there's large, either like significant figures that are trying to make a difference or do something different to offer to people who may not align with the vaccine stuff, and I think that's huge. And, speaking of music, did you hear that guy that did the rap song of "Let's Go Brandon"?
He's number one.
He number one on iTunes,
love
and
it.
they got rid of it.
iTunes
What?
is?
Yeah, they took
didn't
it
know that.
down.
No, iTunes. I thought he took down his YouTube.
Maybe it was
and-
YouTube. It
YouTube, not
booted him.
iTunes. Yeah, because I saw another article where like it was some like well-to-do music magazine was saying how a no-name loser knockoff artist knocked off Adele because of Trump supporters. I was like,
God.
I think there's a lot more people than Trump supporters that aren't happy right now, and they love that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, it was number one, and I just think it's funny. That's
beautiful.
That's all I got in that. Is that it's just
I bought it and I
it's
sent it to a bunch of friends. I was like, people, check this out, buy it.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome. Well, how much more American can you be, though, right?
Let's
Here's a
go
person who-
Brandon crew sweatshirt that I ordered.
From him?
No, I just saw it online.
Oh, you
and
bought
ordered
it. Yeah. But I was saying, like, how much more
He'll be
American
here
is it
next
that
week.
someone took an opportunity to write a song? They saw a chance and did it, made their own way, no label, nothing, right? Everyone's trying to take him down. He's still number one.
Nope.
What are they going to do? Good for you. And you know what I find the irony is? He's also African American.
Yeah.
And they're shitting on him.
Of course.
No.
I'm thinking,
That's racist.
oh, dude.
Not in this case.
I know.
You're good. You're like, oh, he's not. He's conservative, or I mean, I don't even know if he is personally or not. But
They're
just-
censoring.
It looks like that,
Yeah,
right,
they're censoring a black man who's being successful because he's not going along with the agenda. It's so two-faced. It's unbelievable.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Right. You have to back
It's like
the agenda.
people, people you still support. It's like, how much more do you need?
Yep.
Well, hopefully, when they listen to this kind of stuff, at least the people who are listening to this can be like, oh, even if you don't feel that way, just look.
Yeah.
Look, open your eyes, read other things, get information from different sources, then come up with it. But I guarantee you, if you look at both ends of the spectrum, you will align in the middle.
But you have to look at both ends,
the
though,
middle.
bro. You have to look at both ends, and
I know,
nobody does that. Everywhere they do, and it's like, well, yeah, I gotta pick this side because I've always picked this side.
Right.
I mean,
You know
yeah,
what?
bro.
You know who does that well though? Is
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
So let's talk about the closer
Yes.
because he pissed some-
transition.
I thought it was awesome. I loved it. I laughed the whole time.
It was great.
Yes, I loved
He
it.
did it to me. He did it. It was funny, but it was respectful, and he was just pointing out the obvious. That's what my thought was.
Right.
And he
Like-
definitely had like a teaching lesson point that to me I thought was obvious, but it's like it's still just I love it. My favorite part is when he says that people come and attack him and they'll say stuff and he's like, "Okay, well, where did you see me at? Like, did you go see me? Did you watch this whole because if you look at it, I'm really mad at white people or I'm always bashing them the most, which is so true." But like he says it in a joking manner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, I
right.
mean, what,
But yeah,
whatever. He's another.
Yeah.
But he's another successful comedian because, like you said, Bill Burr. He's really good at that too.
Oh yeah.
He's like, no one's off limits. You just kind of go after everybody, and they're just funny people. They're creative writers. They have good story. Because Bill Burr is a little more punchliney than he is, storyteller. But like this, Dave Chappelle's probably the best storyteller type comic, in the game. But they shit on everybody, which is funny.
It is. It's
right.
hilarious.
It's hilarious, and it's like when I walk out, it's not like I'm like, oh, Dave Chapelle, he hates white people. Like I don't give a shit.
Right.
Even if he does, the shit he's saying is hilarious. Right. You know what I mean? And it's like because that's what you're watching comedy for. Like you're not going in there thinking like this guy's right on level with me.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm watching this because I think this guy's going to say everything that I want to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
No, dude, that's why it's funny.
Yep.
It's unexpected, or there's nuances that they key in on that you don't normally think about, or when they say it, you go, he's fucking right.
Right.
I do sound like that.
Yep.
And it's like we can't even like have this because like the thing with Dave Chappelle, we're kind of like mucking it up a little bit. It's a big fucking deal.
It's a huge deal,
right? And I'm not saying that what he says about the transsexual community is that did I say it right?
Transgender,
transsexual. Okay, all of that.
The LGBT
He calls them the letters.
FJB.
plus.
FJB.
I always forget the ending.
LGB.
But them, yeah.
Let's go.
LGB, FJB, dude.
Anyway, I'm trying to sound politically correct as much as I can here because it's kind of a dicey subject. But I think that it's like, okay, look, at the end of the day, why, when he says it, now all of a sudden there's large people in uproar? Because Netflix, they had a bunch of employees that went on strike or they walked out or whatever because they feel like the environment.
Or tried to or something like that.
Or tried to, but the demeanor was that we're in an uncomfortable working environment. It's like, okay, well, one, do you work with Dave Chappelle?
Right.
It's like, no.
Exactly.
No, you're working on all this other shit. Right, but since you work for the organization, the name is tied to this, and now all of a sudden now you can't do it. And I get it; they're trying to do the groups thing. Everyone's kind of showing solidarity, moving forward. I understand that part, but it's like really break down what happened. It's like you have a comedian. It's like there's one sector in all the social media and influences, all that stuff. Comedy's always been a kind of like. You know what I mean?
Pushes the line, bro. But it's supposed to, though.
Right.
Right.
It makes you think.
Right.
It brings things out that, like, whether it's funny or not funny or whatever, but they're topics that it's like that supposedly was kind of like judge them, but you can't take them down for it.
No.
You know what I mean? Because that's part of the thing. And like, by the way, if they're all walking out on Dave Chappelle's new one, I was like, have you listened to Eddie Murphy Raw?
Oh, shit. Yeah, that was in the 80s.
He goes, that was in the 80s.
God
He goes on a
damn.
20-minute rant about gay people
Right.
that I think is funny, but I could see how that would be offensive.
Right.
But that's still on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like we have this like woke culture revolution here where it's like, dude, well, hey, Eddie Murphy, watch out because,
Cancel.
yeah,
Right.
not that he would give a shit. He's worth like fucking $500 million.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? It's like no one's like really safe.
He's kind of trying to free the comedians again. I
seems
think,
like
because they're just killing them at this rate. Like you can't say anything.
Well,
if you look at how like I don't want to say prison like Hollywood is, but you can't say anything.
If you want to keep your career.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he did. He went where I think a lot of comedians were afraid to go, and I commend him for it. I think it was fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It was funny. There was a lesson learned, like you said, Danny. And he's very sharp at what he does. He's not picking on just one type of person. He hits on fucking everybody.
He's kind of not even picking on them if you like actually listen and hear his stories. It's just, a lot of it's just taking things out of context or you completely spinning what he's saying in a way to piss you off
That's
or
the
for you to
biggest thing.
complain about.
Contextual. People are so they take everything out of context with comedians, and I think it's necessary for those biggest comedians to do that. Those because they set the bar, they set that line for everyone else, and they I think they set the tone for the country. Like this is how the country is. It's I feel like it's thinking like this, but nobody's talking about it. So I'm gonna just say it, and let's see what happens. And then people start to go crazy.
Reach they have,
exactly.
Right? Look at Joe Rogan's reach, Bill Burr.
Oh my God, yeah.
Who are the other? All that little community they have. They have a
Dave
strong.
Chappelle, Tom Segura.
Yeah. So when you see like Joe Rogan, who we're going to talk about next, too, Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle, these guys hitting on these super issues, hard issues, and they're calling people out.
Yep.
That pisses off the mainstream. The agenda.
Yep.
They get real pissed, but that's why I'm kind of watching. I'm like, I wonder
what happens.
When are they gonna when are they gonna go after Joe Rogan and pull his shit?
Damn.
I know. I'm super surprised they haven't yet.
I know. But I'm thinking, like, if that happens, I always think I'm like, that's the end of free speech, dude.
Oh yeah.
Well, this podcast won't go anywhere if they pull Joe Rogan.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Everything we just talked about is like
anti.
Yeah, they're not even anti, just a different point of view.
Right.
It's
or
just stating the obvious,
Right.
actually.
Well, yeah. But and that's what's crazy is like, like we're talking about comedians, like it's an act, right? So it's like not everything that they're saying up there, they truly feel that way about another person, which is why when Dave Chapelle talks about that, when he's like, dude, everyone shits on me about this, but he's like, I never get anyone to like, like he even somebody leaked like some video of him doing another stand-up deal where he actually started talking about it, and he was just like, yeah, I got the number of whoever's in charge of this wing of the LGBT community, and for whatever organization is from, I reached out to them to talk to them, say, hey, look, like let's I'm sure he's like, let's sit down and actually talk, because like what I do in my act versus probably how he is as a person day-to-day life are two completely different things.
Right.
Not completely different, but you know what I mean? Like he probably doesn't feel that way or being so aggressive about talking about stuff because, he's trying to be funny in one thing versus how he lives his life, and then he said, I still haven't heard back from them.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he was the one reaching out. So it's like, I just think it's a lose-lose scenario when you talk about certain subject matter with where we are in this day and age.
Always.
And it's unfortunate because I agree with what you're saying, Sam, is that like the comedians, like throughout, like at least in our lives, like they're the ones that push the envelope, right? They talk about taboo things or they talk about stuff, but that sets the gauge on what people in society probably, could feel a little bit comfortable at least.
Right.
Whatever subject matter you're talking about, if this world-renowned comedian's like making jokes on either side of it,
right?
And then when you show up to work the next day, and if you disagreed with somebody, maybe you can like talk about it a little bit through that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like it does so much more to their impact on society that now it's like they just get shut down right away. All that does is it shores up the system. Not the system, but the society's like viewpoints on it.
Right.
Who's like, oh, we better not say anything because so-and-so I work with may be along those lines or whatever. And now it just makes things incredibly uncomfortable when, maybe there was a bridge to actually talk about it for both sides to learn about something.
Which is why it's displayed in that context, in as far as comedy. That's why it's the perfect time to discuss this. Because it's like, hey, that was kind of funny, and then it's like, oh, but then people take it as, well, you're laughing at me, right. That's it's offensive or whatever.
Why did we become so freaking weak in this country? I mean, being able to laugh at yourself, I think, is so important.
It's important, yeah.
You have to, and laughter is so good for your mental health and just who you are. That's why I love going to watch these comedians. It just feels good to laugh with a group of people. Right. It's fun. It's like, when did that become such a freaking crime?
But you need to be open-minded, I feel, to do that, Because otherwise, when you get to these big comedians, you're just like, oh, well, I'm on this side. But if he said something on the other side, it's yeah, man, you have to know, like, dude, be a part of, the audience in general.
Sensitive ass people.
Oh my God.
I like in the Killing Me Softly, though. He's like, you ever notice how white people are when you ask them about who they voted for? he's like, Dave, I'm trying to talk to you about fucking my wife.
Yeah. Hey, whoa.
It's like one of my favorite.
So anyways,
lines.
I was fucking yeah. That is a good one.
Dave Chapelle, who did he call out?
He was just pretty much
He was.
No, it was Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it was Joe Rogan.
Sorry, not Dave Chapelle. Joe
I was
Rogan.
like, gay people?
No. So sorry. No, Joe Rogan had a doctor on his podcast.
Yes.
What was his name? Sanjay
Gupta. Gupta.
And he pretty much called him out and CNN, right, for pretty much lying.
Yes.
So what CNN came out and said was Joe Rogan was taking like horse medication. Right. And he had him on I listened to the whole podcast and stuff. And like it, which that in itself was interesting because there is a long segment where they talk about it. They talk about the COVID a lot in the podcast. But the section where he was calling him out was not, I mean, maybe 10 minutes. Like they were talking about it, going back and forth. And the doctor really didn't have much to say about it, in all honesty. But it was interesting to see what came of that, because now it's like all the right-wing stuff kept posting. It was like, Joe Rogan goes after so-and-so. Like it was like some kind of bully beatdown.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that at all.
No, it was a calm conversation. I listened to it too.
Yeah. And it was, which I think, because like it just shows you. Like it doesn't matter what is happening. It's all on how things get skewed. Now, look, he did say, like, what do you think of that? Like, they were lying. You know, they were absolutely lying. They said that it's like they made it sound like I just walked into I was like a veterinarian medicine place. I can't think of the fucking word. But, and then just got some horse, like voodoo magic kind of fucking medication. And it was like, no. He's like, I have doctors, and they prescribed me this, and I was on a rigid thing. And then, look, I got COVID, and he didn't have it, and he tested negative in 3 days, which is not normal, right? And then you can make the argument that Joe Rogan's not normal. Like, the guy's probably got the perfect...
That's rich man's medicine.
Well, actually... That's not... I mean, it's not true. It's like, ivermectin's like 13 cents a tab. Like, it's the cheapest shit ever.
Was it... I don't want to say immigrant... what's it called? Refugee? Or no. Anybody coming over, isn't it like kind of mandated that they have to give them that? Something like that.
You're talking about like it would be a refugee.
Yeah.
It's like someone coming to the
They
country for safety or something.
And
like
it's
that.
something they've been doing for years. And what a lot of people don't realize is like a lot of veterinary medicine is used for people.
Yes.
It's just different dosage.
Yes.
Like it's the same exact thing. I home treat my pets all the time, and I got one problem. But I also know about that medicine. But still.
Right.
But in a way, I hated how when the doctor, went back to his headquarters where he was safe, back at CNN, and then Don Lemon tried to pretty much dissect that whole thing. Like, wait a minute, it is for horses though, right? Like, yes, you do give it to horses, other animals, but you also people. It's not just an animal thing. Like, you could fucking brush a horse's hair with a brush. Doesn't mean I don't use a brush. Like, you know what I mean?
Ivermectin there's a bunch of different uses for it.
Yeah.
A horse dewormer is one of them.
Yeah.
But so is like parasitic infections, things like that for human consumption for a long time. So this is not new. It's not a new drug. It's not something crazy. It's not, and yes, don't go get horse dewormer and then try to dose it out yourself and take it and think you're going to be okay. It's different. It's different. Right now, essentially, I guess it could kind of be the same depending on what it is.
Pounds, 2,000 pound animal.
Well, right, yeah. So, and again, it just boils down to it's like doesn't fit the narrative, gets deconstructed from a different angle, and now you have the guy that was talking to Joe Rogan. Now he's on Don Lemon's show, and Don Lemon's trying to make Joe Rogan sound like an idiot, and not to mention the organization is again putting out there that he did something that he did not, which is lying, which would be that'd be slander, right?
Which shouldn't be in journalism at all, right? That's journalism 101, right?
Correct.
Seek the truth.
Well, again, that's very loosely stated, but yeah, it was really interesting, and I really was interested on how because I saw the little clip first before I had listened to the actual episode, so I was kind of going into it thinking like, what's this guy gonna say,
Just like that, eh?
I did, yeah. I was like, but the guy, look, I don't know much about him, but he is a fucking neurosurgeon. Like this guy's a smart individual. Right? So outside of whatever you want to believe about him, like this guy's hit the criteria of knowledge base. So whatever he believes in is what he believes in, and he happens to be like the medical consultant for CNN. Yeah. Right? So obviously there's going to be things that he's going to talk about with, conviction versus even if Joe Rogan made a solid point, he can't be like, Joe, you're right. You're right. The company that pays me millions of dollars a year, they're wrong. He's not going to say that. No. So it's like, just stop. Like the expectation of them coming out of being like, oh yeah, he's going to completely, of course he's not going to agree, but he's going to diplomatically fucking backpedal a little bit on saying that, yeah, that's absolutely wrong. They shouldn't have lied about, you know, and that's so funny we talk about Joe Rogan, but like he's like a super famous person now, you know? And so it was interesting to see the back and forth between the two or listening to it. And, you know, he really didn't have much to say. And it was interesting because they really get into like, was the vaccine work, blah, blah, blah. And like, please listen to it. It's very interesting.
Well, so much as they made a big deal about that segment, I mean, I listened to it too. I'm like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Oh.
He was just telling them like, yeah, they lied. He was telling them like, what do you think about them lying? You know,
It's like, well, we should talk about it and then maybe come up with a different. It's like, fuck, dude, come on.
You're coming at me with so many questions.
I'm gonna go ahead and circle back into another.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway.
You know, it's another dumb thing that I read. This, you know, okay, so you guys have heard about Alec Baldwin. He, you know, discharged a weapon on set of a movie and it killed somebody. Right, there was a live round in there.
Correct.
Some magazine or article published they need to investigate Trump supporters because if there was a Trump supporter working on the crew, they probably slipped in the real bullet.
That's so funny.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
I was like,
come on, someone just died. Like, that's where you're gonna go right now.
Oh, God.
dude, the internet's ruthless.
Any angle they
yeah.
can work it.
Because I think it was that the article. It might have been the same one we read. Because I read the same thing and I was like, what?
I mean, I loosely paraphrase, but it was some.
It was
some
saying that
title.
the girl that was in charge of like she's like the master arms. I don't know the title of it, but whoever.
She's
Armor.
like the armor specialist.
Okay, right, the one who
Yeah.
clears everything, safety checks and everything, all that stuff, is that she was a Trump supporter and did this for retaliation of Alec Baldwin's like impersonations of Trump. Right, because he's a very, very outspoken anti-Trump person, which is fine, whatever, you know. And he does all the SNL skits and all that, blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, okay, really?
Which I thought were funny too.
They are funny.
are
He
funny,
does a
actually.
good Trump.
Yeah.
Like I get it. You know? But like to say that like this was like some crazy Trump supporter has slipped in a bullet to murder someone that completely not involved, like that I don't know. That's a pretty big reach for me. to
I
process.
love conspiracy theories.
I was
but
like, Sam,
come on,
talk about
man.
conspiracy.
Yeah, like I don't know, Sam.
Yeah,
Fuck,
man.
dude.
That's a reach, but
They're filming a dirty western out there. Everyone's miserable. Like, come on. They probably want to get this thing done and out.
Yeah.
You know, come on. Like, I don't know.
So let's see. How do I word this?
Speaking of
I was
conspiracy
gonna say,
I was like,
theories,
I'll see your conspiracy.
I
and
stand
I'll
behind
raise-
Alec. You know what I'm saying?
I'll raise, whatever, man.
I mean, I
You
stand
know?
behind him. I don't want to stand in front of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
Ring that bell. Yeah, ring that shit.
Yeah, that's messed up, dude.
Not
We're
for
canceled.
safety,
We're done.
right?
I mean, I feel like he's kind of publicly a jerk to like people.
He is a
like he
dick.
was like one of those guys that you see beating up the paparazzi. Like he's like that old guy who still thinks he's tough.
Right.
Like
I don't know. I still think he's funny.
Yeah, he's super funny. I love Beetlejuice. He's great in that.
Beetlejuice.
No, but so one of the conspiracy things that I saw that I was like, oh my God, that's a reach. But again, just as much of a reach as I feel like the other thing we were just talking about was that the husband of the woman who was shot supposedly is like an attorney that works for a law firm,
Oh,
a
yeah.
big firm
Big one.
that is the one representing is it Saucerman is the one. It's basically like the conspiracy of the Trump Russia gate. One of the people who pushed that. They're the defense for that guy who has been indicted now from the John Durham reports.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So again, I don't believe any of this shit because
That's pretty-
I think it's crazy. I'm like, okay, look, I was like,
This
not
is so
everything,
extended.
Not everything is a fucking movie. Not everything
Right.
is a movie, but crazy movie plot, right? And then it's like, but there was something along the lines of that they're like funded by the Clinton Foundation or something like that. So that's why it was like when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I don't believe it, but dang, that's juicy.
That's
Right?
That's interesting.
Like a warning shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's terrible. Someone died. Like that's not okay.
Right.
You know, like and like not to mention like all bullshit of like the conspiracy and stuff aside, this poor woman was doing her job.
Yeah.
And like a cool one at that, right? She's a
Right.
photographer, set photographer or whatever, like badass. Like this I think that she was in
Director of photography.
she's director of, yeah, and I think she was like in isn't she from Romania?
I can't
She was in the
remember.
army.
It's
Like she
pretty
has like a
sad.
crazy backstory and like just like, you know, obviously everything coming out. She's an awesome person, you know, and then gets shot doing what she loved on some bullshit, like, you know, horrible accident, you know? Anyway, it's crazy.
She
And
leaves behind a husband and a son, and it's just kind of like, God, dude, what a tragic mistake for somebody who was not paying attention to detail and just not doing their job, being lazy.
well, let me ask you this.
You know?
A question to ponder. If you are an actor and you are in a film where you have to shoot a gun, right? That's part of your role. Or there's a scene you're shooting where you have to do that. Because, I mean, look at all the movies out there. There's one where they're holding the gun in the other person's face and shooting them, all that stuff. Squid Games. Dude. Right? So the amount of safety that goes into checking all the equipment, right? And then now it's like Alec Baldwin's a huge actor. So this is like, whether or not the film is like, you know, huge budget or all these superstars, all that stuff, it's like he's pretty important. So I'm assuming that this is like a big deal, right? So when you're doing the safety checks of all those things, at what point do the actors not get trained at all either? Like, because
they're supposed to. No, they are.
Right? And that's what I have no experience in this industry, but I'm just saying, like, to me, I would think that, like, it's like, okay, you check and then you train everyone else how to check. So it's just something as simple as like, because like, you know, going through the magazine, looking at the bullets, because like a dummy bullet for those, they'd look completely different.
Yeah.
Right? They're like crimped on the ends of it. It's all one piece. So there's a blast cap. Anyway, but it's like, does not, you know, I mean, how did that happen? Was it just like just a total alignment of mistakes that came in that caused a horrific accident that this person lost their life because of it? You know, or is it like some shady business going on? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's interesting to me.
I was trying to figure out like the whole scene. Was he just like playing around and just like?
No, so they were practicing. It was like a front shot from the camera.
Oh, okay.
And he was kind of pointing past or pointing, and they were doing the rehearsal, and he pulled the trigger, and then I guess she was sitting there.
Damn.
She was quiet, went through, and she said, "Oh, like I can't feel my legs," and then somebody helped her back, and then she.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
That's so sad.
It's super sad. I don't know how it's gonna play out because it looks like there could be possible criminal charges. Who that falls on, we'll see how they play this one out. It's
probably gonna be the armor. It'd be
I would say
it'd be like
armor,
negligence,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I don't know if Alec Baldwin. I mean, it's just something that was so unnecessary. Now there's gonna be multiple lives ruined. You're talking not just hers lost, but now her son, her husband, parents. Now also the person who didn't do their job. You know, justice will be served. But that's also another life transformed, another family impacted. You know, it's just like the Gabby Patito thing. And Brian Laundrie, they just found his bones and all that. It's like, God, was it really worth it taking someone's life? Now these families' lives are destroyed.
Yeah.
And that's going to leave like some type of ripple effect, you know?
Yeah.
It's just sad. You know, what a waste. That's why I always think, like, what a freaking waste, man.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I don't know. It sucks. And like, I guess it's like super ironic because Alec Baldwin's like very much against guns. You know, he posted.
I found it so ironic, dude.
I know, and he posted like he posted on Twitter about that Huntington Beach officer
who was like to kill an innocent man or something.
Yeah,
like that?
who was attacked by someone, by the way,
right?
And ended up having to discharge those firearms to stop the person, which is fucking horrible. But you can watch the entire video; it's all on the internet, like the whole from start to finish. It's a terrible scenario, but this dude's ripping on this guy, this cop, right? And now it's like I don't know. It's like. It's just, I mean, it's ironic, but, you know, there's
the cop was put in a tough situation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what else is he going to do? It's not good, man.
Crazy.
But hey, we hit that time. One last thing where you're getting those cards, Jordan. Danny, Kat Von D leaving Cali just like so many other people.
Yeah, she's going to Indiana. She's going to close up shop, LA Inc.
She's going to Indiana, of all places?
Yeah. Whoa. And she is an anti-vaxxer. Like, I know her son's not vaccinated, so she's been staying quiet all this time, so that could be reason being, along with all the many taxes.
I'm sure she doesn't have to work another day in her life, though. She's done pretty well, right?
Oh, no. Doesn't she have, like, some music thing going on, too?
I don't know, but I have a mad crush on her. I still do. Dude, man. Them tattoos and shit. I'm like, well. But hey, it's another person leaving Cali. There's a lot more leaving.
Yep.
A lot more. I think more to come, too. All right, so we hit that time, my friends. What?
Tell me to pick it up. I'm like, sorry, dude, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm like, past few weeks, he keeps forgetting to get the cards ready.
Okay.
We should come up with questions
sorry,
ourselves.
I had them good last time.
To give to each other someday.
Okay.
Ahead of time.
All right, but in that case, I got 3. All right. So this one, debate the internet. It says what president throughout history would be the best in an Air Force One movie situation?
Man.
That's a good one.
I'm just gonna say Biden because he'd be lost the whole fucking time.
Like he would like.
He wouldn't even be scared because he'd just be like,
exactly. Bullets would be going off around the place, and he'd just be walking around like, "Huh? What?
You're like, come on, man.
This ain't no Trump rally. Shit's blowing up."
Oh, dude, it would be like
It'd be a comedy. It would be a comedy.
it'd be like Leslie Nielsen.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Like shit would be going down and be all serious, and he'd just be like casually walking, and like he'd knock into something that would hit someone in the head and knock him out, and be like, "Oh, how'd I get there? Like, we're good."
I karate chopped you.
Yeah.
I would say for a funny one, I would say Biden, but for like a serious, legit one, like with Harrison Ford, right?
Yeah.
That one. Damn, dude.
Yeah, man.
What about I'm gonna go George Washington.
I was gonna say
He crossed the frozen river on Christmas Eve to attack the British.
Well, he was probably one of the last commanders that actually fought,
That's true.
right, or was there like in battle. You know, because I mean, really, after that, they actually fought against. Well, they fight. Oh,
It's
that's
funny
not
because I don't
true.
think of any.
That's actually not true. I take that back. That is incorrect. I was like, because Abe Lincoln had to been there. That's during the Civil War. That'd been like front lines. I always like omit that
Abraham
one
Lincoln
because I
didn't
can
fight.
fight. No,
He did vampires. Okay?
George. That's a great.
right. That Abraham Lincoln would have that plane under control in
I
10
get
minutes.
made fun of for liking that movie. I
It's a
like
good
that
movie.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but Abraham Lincoln, he didn't fight in.
I guess he probably.
No, he didn't fight.
I actually
George
don't know
Washington,
enough.
but that's such a different era, right? George Washington had to. Like they
Right.
had. Like, it was to build this country and make America what it is. That was like a defining moment. Everybody
Yeah.
had to fight.
Yeah, I would probably. Yeah, that's probably more of a realistic answer. He'd probably be tripping balls because he's on a plane and be like, "What the fuck?"
Didn't think of that, right?
Yeah, like,
Think
that's
about
just
that.
too crazy
Airplanes.
for me. I'm out of here.
Pulling out his sword and shit.
Yeah, I'd say maybe like JFK seemed like he was kind of
That's
like that.
what I was
cool,
thinking,
like,
too.
Maybe he'd have like a gun, be like kind of James Bond in it
dude,
a
he'd
little
have
bit.
so many women on that fucking plane, dude.
He'd just be like,
He
"Listen, I
was
got
cheating on his
you."
wife. Come on, Marilyn Monroe shit.
Anyway,
Happy birthday.
Sam.
No, I was gonna say George Washington actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a
Okay.
hard ass, bro. Yeah, I mean the whole plane thing. I like how you threw that in there. Yeah, where the fuck am I at?
You're like, this is weird.
I didn't even think
I
about
was on a horse 10 minutes ago. Okay, it's.
What is this, a Pegasus?
This one's fun. So, what fictional character would you love to beat the shit out of? Fictional,
What fictional character?
which means not real.
Brooke
right?
Logan on The Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh, you went soap opera, huh?
Brooke Logan on The Bold and the Beautiful?
Hey, fuck you, Brooke.
Yeah.
Stop being a cock block.
Oh, man. I don't... Okay. The Patriot. You remember that guy?
No,
the
dude.
Dude on the horse?
Yeah.
He killed, what's his
Son.
name?
Yeah.
We're both like, yeah.
You know what's even with that one? The one with my man on it, with Tom Hardy, Lawless, the bad guy in that
Ooh,
one.
yeah.
Oh, I wanted to beat
Yeah.
the shit out of that guy when he touched my man.
That's a
I was
good
like,
movie. That's a really good. Yeah.
I don't care about Shia though.
So it was Mel Gibson's son, played by Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
And he would like went on a tear. He was killing all the kids and the women while these guys were out fighting, and he killed Heath Ledger's. He burned them all in the church.
Yeah, I burned him, locked him in the
Dude
church.
was ruthless, dude. Ruthless. And he shot Mel Gibson's little boy right in front of him.
Yep.
Just called him a stupid little boy. Damn. Oh, dude, I fucking hate
You
that
stupid
guy.
little boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I really want to beat him up too. I'm gonna say I'm
But
gonna
it
keep
was-
that answer. I'm gonna stick with you on that
Yeah,
one.
no, we
I
could
really
just-
dislike
yeah.
him.
You know, at the end when Mel Gibson's like, I'm nothing like my sons, and just whoosh, right through his neck. I'm like, oh man, dude.
Yeah, I was like, you should have done it slower.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like with a spoon. Stole.
Spoon.
Hurts more.
Get it in there.
I think The Patriot's one of my top, definitely a top 10. It's a good movie.
It is a great movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Who's the guy that plays the dude that from Game of Thrones that tortures the Theon Greyjoy, calls him Reek? You guys know? You guys are Game of Thrones people?
I didn't watch it.
I don't watch Game of Thrones much.
Well,
It's just
there's
a
a
bunch
lot
of-
of people. It's like the number one show.
Tits and Dragons,
Geek.
dude.
Hey, he got me.
Tits.
I was
And it wasn't the dragons.
Oh man.
God bless your wife, by the way.
Absolutely. Sam?
He loves you.
And then, I was going to say, what's his name in fucking Django? Wow. I didn't think you guys would.
Dude.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
DiCaprio.
Yeah, DiCaprio, bro.
Fucking
I was
evil,
like,
dude.
I was like, that was him. Yeah, he did a bunch of. I was kind of thinking every slave owner in every fucking slave movie, and I was thinking, what is the one that's like the craziest? Like one of the craziest.
Yeah.
And yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio did a great fucking job being an asshole,
Being a horrible person.
horrible fucking person. Yeah.
Dude, the way he said that
I
N
love
word
Leo,
too
too.
was so crisp.
Oh
that
my
ER in the
God.
end, I'm like, yeah, you're a slave owner,
Yeah,
dude.
you play it well.
Yeah, like you're a piece of shit.
How did you? Yeah, you practice, motherfucker.
that was sick.
Yeah. How long did you practice for that shit?
Yeah, it's like
Hopefully a long time.
Right.
I'm hoping that it took him a long time to nail that because I
right.
feel like if that was a natural transition, I was like, he's probably a shitbag. Dude.
Yeah,
dude.
I don't know anything about Leonardo DiCaprio other than I thought he seems like a nice person.
seems cool, but
He lives a cool life,
right.
but he makes it for a dick slave owner.
Yeah, bro.
Well, dude,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I would like to beat the shit out of that character as well.
Right, bro.
He had to practice that N word
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
for acting, but I'm like, man, he had that thing down because every time he would say it, just your blood would boil because it felt like he really meant it, like he hated the person.
Right.
He's another one of those. That's why he's a great actor, right? Is because like the roles he plays, they're super believable. And in that case, it was like, you nailed it.
Right.
But like, how did that take? Weeks, months?
Yeah.
Months to get that?
Oh, for
like,
sure.
years? You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? Like you're like, dude,
He's definitely one of those actors that will set aside like start living his life like his character like a year ahead of time.
Oh, like the method actors,
Yeah, he
like Robert
totally
Downey
is one of
Jr.
those, Yeah.
It's crazy though. Still.
No, I'm laughing.
crazy.
I was thinking of Tropic Thunder, which is a movie that would never be able to come out when Robert Downey Jr. plays the black guy, and it's like,
That's blackface.
yeah, that
Forget about white chicks.
Right.
We don't talk about that one.
That was a great movie. What's the last question
All
you
right,
got?
last question is. Oh wow, last question is the same one I just had.
It's not the
No.
Fiona one, right? It's
No.
been answered like 10 times.
Oh,
I had like a different answer every time.
it says if you could put any restaurant in your house, what would it be?
I know we've done this,
have.
but I think
Okay.
I want to change my answer though.
I don't remember. Any restaurant in my house,
Yeah, it says franchise restaurant, but any restaurant you could put in your house, what would it be?
Chipotle.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's awesome. Do Chipotle.
Because I can have burritos when I want.
I'm like
a fucking
judgy.
salad, some nachos.
Fuck Chipotle.
I know. I'm like,
In
damn,
that case,
dude.
I'd have a varsity burger because then I could have burgers, I could have chicken, I could have
Oh, shit.
rice bowls, I could have salads, and I have
I
the
like
whole
it.
thing.
That's good. Diversity. I like it. That's a tough question.
It is,
I'm
bro.
starving too right now, so it's like
I could see you doing like straight McDonald's, dude.
me.
Yeah.
I don't even like McDonald's.
Really?
I mean, I love McDonald's. You should sponsor our show. Chicken McNuggets all day, every day. No, I think I would probably do like if it had to be like a franchise, like probably like Alberto's, like Mexican food.
Hell
I eat
yeah.
that shit every day. I could eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love it.
You got me for Chipotle?
Yeah, I know. Why did I shit on Chipotle? You know why? Okay, I'll explain to you. This
You
is
get
probably
sick?
every time.
I do.
Every time I get
guys really?
chicken.
Well, not sick, but I'm feeling it now.
Really?
You know, and it was amazing last night. But yeah, I didn't eat shit after lunch. I'm still feeling something's there. Just
Did you get chicken?
no, I got that amazing brisket. Oh my god,
brisket? Yeah.
Oh
Is
my
it really
god,
good?
it's amazing, bro.
Okay, I
and
gotta
I have left. I'm gonna eat it tomorrow. I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
I just figure I'm gonna lose some weight after I eat there.
Oh my God.
Because I just shit my brains
just go.
out.
You just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a stomach of steel. I never get it.
Oh,
I
then
never
you
get
hit
that,
that
yeah.
shit up. Then.
Hispanic
Yeah.
woman, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
What about you, Danny?
Well, I said varsity burger, which is pretty much like
Oh,
an
that's right, you did say
Alberto's,
varsity burger. I'm
which is
sorry.
more stuff. But if we went through, I don't know, I'd probably choose like a sushi restaurant, to be honest with you.
I was just gonna say sushi,
I'm very
pho,
much-
like all
or
that
like
shit.
seafood.
Seafood just
Oh,
every day.
Man, if you see me
Yeah.
clean a crab, like nothing.
Dude.
Yeah.
You clean them bones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I clean bones real well.
cleaned them bones. Dude, if we had soul food in our homes, I'd say every single one of us would be sick every single day.
Oh yeah.
Because when I go visit my family in Louisiana and I have soul food, dude, I'm sick for a week.
Oh my, because you eat so good here,
Oh
bro.
man.
Yeah, you eat meal prep. You just had a meal prep, bro.
Dude,
yeah.
I gotta do
fire.
something. Let's go.
I love that shit.
I love destroying it when every time I come, I have like a basket or something. Like, brought you some goodies. It's like chocolate, Cheetos, chips.
I was thinking of that one time we did the review. You came in, you're like, order California burritos. I'm like, damn, all right.
Do it now.
I'm hungry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Well, anyways, hey guys, that's the end of this podcast. To wrap it up, thank you so much for coming on again for our October monthly review. We have myself, Tim Fisher, Sam Komalafe, Danielle Cravat, the man with the plan, Jordan Jamiola.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for stopping by. I always look forward to this.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
We'll dress up next Halloween.
Bing. There you go. I want to say it. Hell yeah, I look forward to it. This is like the fun ones, man. Just cruising. Love it.
Let's get a let's go on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go.
Bye, everybody. And that's it. Thank you for listening in, everybody. We'd like to thank our sound engineer who makes this podcast happen and makes us sound very good, Stephen Clark. And to our first sponsor, 89 Barbers. Look good, feel good, be great. Come get your haircut at 2 locations, Long Beach and in Orange, California. Your appointment can be booked at 89barbers.com. That is EIGHTNINE BARBRERS. 89barbers.com. Again, look good, feel good, be great. Check it out. It's my barber. He is the man. Thanks, everybody. Bye.